thank you for your patience. We're going to get started here in just a second, but David would like to start off.
So, my name is David Cates, and I'm president of the Myra Theater Guild, which owns this building, which is a Bay Terrace Theater, if you haven't been here before. The building was built in 1918, originally for grammar school, and repurposed into the theater in 1947. And first of all, I'd like to welcome you. We're thrilled to have you here, thrilled to have Vallejo here this evening. And I want to talk to you a little bit about our upcoming events. We have a great partnership with the Barizo Opera that does affordable opera for $15 a ticket here, and they're going to be performing most weekends in June. We also have a Gay Pride Comedy Night on June 11th at 8 p.m. here as well to celebrate Gay Pride in June. And also, if you're interested in donating to the Myra Theater Guild, we are 501c3, so your donations are fully tax deductible. So with that, I have a thank you to start out with. I'd like to thank Better Vallejo. The organization came to this building, actually came to the hallway that most of you walked through from the parking lot. That beautiful color. And if you've been to the building before, you know what transformation that was. And they also adopted the Joan Bird room, which is actually the old 6th grade classroom, which is the first room to your left as you walk into the building from the northern hallway. So with that, big thank you. Made an amazing difference in the quality of the room and the hallway. I'd like to welcome Better Vallejo and introduce Gregory. All right, here we go.
Hello, my name is Gregory Gazaway, and as a member of the Better Vallejo Steering Committee, I'd like to welcome everyone back to the Bay Terrace Theater. Please join me in thanking the Myra Theater Guild for their generous use of the space tonight. I'd like to do a little housekeeping before we go on. I'm going to be a good role model and grab my cell phone and turn it off. I'd like to ask those of you to either turn yours off or silence it for us, please. We have some dignitaries with us tonight we'd like to recognize before we get started. Joanne Shively, City Council member. Adrian Waterman, School Board member. Raymond Victor Mompson, School Board member. Dennis Albright on the GVRD Board. And with your indulgence, I'd like to ask for the 2011 Steering Committee for Better Vallejo to stand and introduce themselves. Ruskell is also on the Youth Commission. He'll introduce himself. And Wendell is on the Planning, on the Architectural Heritage Commission. Yes. Wendell, why don't you start?
Wendell Quigley, Mare Island.
Miguel Castillo, Glen Cove.
Manny Furtado, Mare Island.
Ruskell Kiange, Tuolumne Street.
David Crumrine, Heritage District.
Joey Lake, Heritage District.
Katie Meissner, Vallejo Heights.
Phil McCullough, Catalina Circle.
Bob McLaughlin, Cabana Isle.
And I see we have Stephanie Gomes, City Council member, with us as well. I want to remind everybody that we are going to have a reception immediately following this in the room that Better Vallejo has adopted down the hall. I also want to say that if you did not get our reminders about tonight's event as an email, we encourage you to sign again the pledge, and that way we'll be sure to have your correct email address and we can make sure you get on our email list. We're also going to be marching in the 4th of July parade, so we invite all of you to join the Better Vallejo contingent in the 4th of July parade. It's always a lot of fun. And we'll be sending out an email closer to the date, sort of telling people what intersection they can find us at, once we know. As many of you who were here for our first general meeting last year will remember, during our brainstorming session on assessing community needs, education was repeatedly mentioned as one of our topmost issues. think many of you were here that night. Since that time, our members have become active participants in school district issues. We became particularly concerned when an outside anti-gay organizations attempted to co-opt a small but vocal group of individuals here in Vallejo to reverse a program designed in concert with the ACLU to support lesbian, gay, bi, and transgender youth and promote respect for all in our schools. I'm happy to report that the Vallejo City Unified School District's new superintendent, Dr. Ramona Bishop, and the school board have supported the continuation of this program as part of the school curriculum. In addition, I'm pleased to announce that Better Vallejo has been invited to participate in the process of creating homegrown materials to further address the other issues of conflict which occurs in our schools, and we look forward to that working relationship with Dr. Bishop, her staff, the other school board members, and other community-based organizations. I know I speak for everyone here when I say that we're all looking forward to hearing from Dr. Bishop. We recognize that it would be easy for our discussion tonight to cover all of the myriad problems and issues facing the Vallejo School District, but speaking on behalf of the steering committee members, we feel it would be better use of our time tonight if we could focus our attention on how we can get involved to better Vallejo schools. On a similar note, Dr. Bishop would like to announce to everyone tonight that she and the school board are having an open community forum listening session scheduled June 15th at Stephan Manor Elementary from 5 to 8. So please put that on your calendars. With that in mind, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ramona Bishop, our newly appointed superintendent of Vallejo City Unified School District. She has graciously agreed to come and talk with us tonight and tell us about her vision for the Vallejo School District and specifically address how we as community members can become better involved in our schools. As a point of serendipitous fate, Dr. Bishop was the 900th person to sign the Better Vallejo Pledge. The pledge simply states, I pledge to create a better Vallejo by honoring the contributions of all people. I believe we thrive when we respect one another in the pursuit of the common good. Dr. Ramona Bishop has worked in education for over 15 years, with the bulk of her experience being in educational administration. She obtained her bachelor's degree from the University of California, Berkeley, her teaching credential from the University of San Francisco, her Master of Science from California State University, Hayward, and her doctorate from the University of the Pacific. She's been the recipient of numerous awards, including but not limited to Student of the Year from University of San Francisco, the Governor's Performance Award, the Above and Beyond Award for the Special Education Department of Sacramento Unified School District, and the Distinguished Educator Award from the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Vallejo City Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. Ramona Bishop.
Break a leg.
I do. So glad to be here tonight. Every time somebody reads my bio, I'm like, who is that person they're talking about? Because I'm really not that person necessarily. I'm really somebody that just cares very deeply for the young people that I have the pleasure of serving. And I kind of am wondering, why are all these people congregated to talk with me? Wow, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for caring so much about our city and our schools, and to Better Vallejo for hosting me tonight. It's interesting, I sat with the steering committee of Better Vallejo, some 3 weeks ago, in a home, in one of the beautiful homes in the area. And sat and just listened to community members who really want to make a difference for our young people and really want to make a difference in our city. And I drove away just thinking, if every group could be engaged like that and care so much about our young people, then there's no way that I can fail here. So I'm very thankful to Better Vallejo for welcoming me here into the city, into the home, into that steering committee meeting, and certainly for having this forum tonight. So I look forward to making it a wonderful forum if I can. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else? Am I supposed to do question and answer, or how is the format, Greg?
We were sort of hoping you might share a little bit of your vision
Will
about
do.
how community members might get access, be more involved in the schools.
Absolutely. So let me just start with what I see in our schools. Okay. As you hear, my career has taken me from teaching on the corner of 98th and Bancroft in East Oakland to being an administrator in Emeryville. Everybody knows where little Emeryville is between Oakland and Berkeley, right? And if you blink, you miss it. And then going up to Sacramento for the last 10 years and being an administrator in various venues, including school administration, district administration, associate superintendents, all those seats and hats I've worn. And one of the things I realize is that with everybody coming together, we can really make a difference in our schools. And here's what I mean by that. When I was studying for this particular interview, and your school board took me over and through the ringer, I want you to know that. It was a 4-month process from beginning to end. But when I was studying to interview with them, I looked at the Vallejo Times-Herald. I studied. I looked at the website. I studied. I looked at the city website. I looked at everything and studied this school district. And what I found is a number of things. One, I found that this is a place that has tremendous assets. It didn't take me really to study to figure that out, because I told you I'm from the Bay Area, so I know about the Bay, I know about the wharf, I know about the wonderful homes that exist in this community. But I learned that this is a community that cares very deeply about education through its advocacy. I also learned that this is a community, like many, where we struggle with our diversity. We struggle with people that are different than we are, that look differently, talk differently, have different preferences, and we really have work to do on that. Because as adults, if we can do the work and really get along together, we need to realize that our kids are watching us, right? That our young people are watching how we get along together. And so my goal in this district is to bring everybody together to understand how they can help the system, which goes back to your question, Greg. And my goal also starts with having environments that are safe and accepting for every single young person in our school district. That's a goal that is attainable, but very difficult. I think we all realize that. Attainable, but very difficult. It requires every one of us to roll up our sleeves and do what we need to do to support one another. We must not be pointing fingers at one another. My goal is to have us collaborate and support and coach one another so that we can make our system the best for every child that comes across our doors. It'll require a whole lot of partnership, a whole lot of work. I also realized that there are some numbers in our system that none of us are proud about. You've read in the Times-Herald about the dropout rate, right? You could probably cite it better than I can. We're not happy about that. And we're expecting that we're going to change that in several ways. But let me tell you how we would ask the community to help. We have taken our 9th graders. Now, I want to tell you, I have 2 young ladies that I've raised, my daughters. They are now 18 and 19 years old. When they were in 9th grade, around that age, 8th and 9th grade, I wondered, who are you and when did you move in my house? Because you are a crazy person, right? And so what we realize in our school system is that that's that critical grade where we have to put all our efforts and energy into making sure our 9th graders succeed. The reason that's critical is if they don't pass algebra or geometry at the end of 9th grade, their path toward dropout is significantly increased. Significantly increased. How can the community get engaged in this? We are asking that every young person in this room, business person that's successful in their career, or somebody that just has lots of time, take one of our 9th graders and mentor them. But we're not asking for a commitment for 1 year. We know, again, that the dropout rate is about 1 out of 2 of our kids, right? So it could be very likely that the child that you're mentoring when you come, because I know you will, has a parent that dropped out. Did you hear what I said? That it could be very likely, it's very, very likely that the child that you mentor has a parent that dropped out. So that means that mentor would have to make a serious commitment to mentoring a young person from 9th grade all the way to 12th grade. Wow. Everybody's like giving me the blank stare, like, yeah, right, lady, that's not gonna happen. But I've had people commit because it's really, really important that our 9th graders that have lost hope see success. I see lots of our teachers in the room. I see high school teachers. They know about that 9th grader with the glazed over lip. And you can just see them dropping out mentally before they actually physically drop out. So the expectation is, and I know that we can make sure that every one of our young people graduates, but let me tell you about something that's a diamond in the school district. That is that our expectation is that every child meet the A through G requirements. A through G, as you know, means that our children will be prepared to enter the college system once they've graduated. Every school district does not do that. That's a very, very high expectation. Not only will you take the classes, you're past them, and you'll be prepared to enter college. That is a huge expectation that our board has set. But it means that all of us, teachers, administrators, classified, have to roll up our sleeves and help make that possible. So 9th grade is a critical grade, and then let me tell you about 3rd grade if you don't like the 9th grade deal. Let me give you another option, because I know, again, I told you I have girls that it was like, who are you? And right, where did you come from? What are you talking about at 9th grade? That's a very difficult grade to mentor. It takes a serious commitment. Some of you have that. But if you don't, there's 3rd graders who, the 3rd grade is a critical grade for many reasons. One of them being, and I have a teacher saying, yes, I already know this statistic, that if a 3rd grader scores far below basic or below basic on their reading scores, the funding for prison starts there. They count the numbers of students that are far below basic or below basic in reading because the likelihood that they'll go into prison is very high. And so we're asking that we're going to turn that around in Vallejo, and if you don't like the 9th grade option, perhaps you could come bounce a ball with a 3rd grader and just say nice things. Sweetheart, did you read today? What's your favorite book? Did you go to the library? My favorite book is that. Maybe you're willing to do that. And as a community, if we take that, just those 2 things very, very seriously, commit just some time and talents to our young people in this city, then I believe we can turn around some of the things that are not happening well. Thank you. There's one more thing I want to say to us. We must celebrate the successes of our young people, of our community, of our leaders. We must. We cannot expect anybody, this is my new thing. We're going to sing our own song. We're going to do our own dance because we must. So we are revitalizing our website in our school district. We have brochures that are almost at the final stages. We are going to celebrate the things that are going well. We have a young man from Bethel that just got accepted at Yale University. And we're going to tell that story over and over and over again and turn around those negative stories, because for every negative, there's probably a couple positives out there that we can celebrate. And as a community, I'm asking you to do that with me. We must not be down on our doldrums talking about we can't. No, we can. And our city is a great city. I have a little apartment here. I haven't told anybody where it is because I like my privacy very, very much. But I love living here during the week. It's a wonderful place to be. All of you have been so embracing and just so open and I'm very proud to be the superintendent of Vallejo City. So I hope I haven't put you to sleep, and I'd love to have any questions when you're ready.
Okay, so folks, we're going to do this sort of like the old-fashioned Phil Donahue kind of a thing. Somebody said to me, we're going to actually have two Phil Donahues. David's got a mic, and I've got one. And I see a hand raised right here, so we're going to start off with you, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Bishop. I'm Louis Brown. I'm the chair for the Vallejo chapter of the NAACP, and I want everyone in Better Vallejo to understand that the Vallejo chapter of the NAACP, as well as the state chapter of the NAACP, wants to work with you very much to make sure that the ACLU mandate works for every member of this community. And as the kids say, we're not playing either.
Thank you.
I've been told by an administrator in the city of Vallejo, and I may be bringing some information to my fellow Vallejoans. I'm a product of this community. I'm a product of the Vallejo City Unified School District, a very proud ex-teacher, and I do stress ex-teacher only because I decided to move on into other things. But getting back to my statement, I've been told that our elementary schools, that there are at least 2 to 3 elementary schools in this city that have actually outpaced schools in Napa and Benicia as far as their test scores are concerned. How do we celebrate that achievement? That is a phenomenal achievement. For those of you, and I see people that I know very well who've grown up here, we never hear about those kinds of things.
Absolutely.
We just don't know. And we're like, you gotta be joking. So how can we as a community really push that information out so that everybody knows it?
That's an excellent question. I believe our website revamp is going to take care of a lot of that. I believe that word of mouth is key. I believe that organizations like the NAACP supporting us and getting that message out is key. I just think that all of us have a responsibility. Our website is going to have an update. We're going to get with the youth times, right? We're going to come out of the doldrums and get with our young people, and they're going to manage our website for us. And it's going to have Facebook postings, Twitter postings, all those things that we know young people access, and even our young families access on a regular basis. And so we will be sending highlights and spotlights and updates via our website, which is in development with a collaborative team of teachers, leaders, parents, and community members right as we speak, and they're energized and ready to go. I believe it'll be up by the time school starts. Thank you for asking.
Hello, my name is Carol Heppy, and I would like to start by thanking Better Vallejo for organizing this. I think it's incredibly vital to our community, and I am so grateful because I think schools are a huge aspect to a successful community, and I don't think Vallejo has done a good job on so many levels. And I don't mean to be the voice of doom and gloom, but the reason I can be here, everybody, is because it's 7 o'clock. I can't, as much as I would love to attend school board meetings, I can't go. I commute from the city of San Francisco. I cannot be here at 5 o'clock. I can't find out what's going on. I can't get involved as a community member in our school board because I have no access. The only way I'm going to get access, Madam Superintendent, is if you start holding your school board meetings at 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night. And I can guarantee you I'll be there, and I'll participate, and I may even mentor a kid at a minimum and do other things. But I can't do anything now because I don't know what's going on, because I don't have access because of the time that the school board holds their meeting. Okay. And for me, that's the most important start for the community, for the parents, for the teachers and the students to get involved in their own future and the future of our town.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to alternate this mic back and forth. Is there somebody on this side? Yeah, Adrian, there you go.
I sit in those meetings. And I can tell you that last night we got out at 9:30, and regularly we get out after that. So pop on over to Mare Island anytime. I mean, I get what you're saying about the 5 o'clock start time, but our meetings are lengthy and fruitful, and you're invited.
Hi, Dr. Bishop.
Hi, Crystal.
I'm Crystal Watts, president of the Vallejo Education Association. I represent over 800 teachers. Proudly represent, and I just want to share just a really, really quick story. I live in Fairfield. However, my dad was stationed on Mare Island, so I did attend schools here in Vallejo as well. But the story I want to share with you tonight is I made the decision 6 years ago to pull my son out of the Fairfield school system because he wasn't getting the support that he needed, and I brought him to Vallejo. The reason why I brought him to Vallejo is because I was able to have conversations with teachers here in Vallejo. He had developed severe anxiety as a result of going to school. It's something that's common with kids right around 8 or 9 years old. He had gotten so bad that he was actually talking suicide at the age of 8. So, made the decision, talked to some of my colleagues, where can I get him in? Were it not for the teachers over at Highland Elementary, I would not have a healthy 9th grader now. And so that's the story that people need to hear, that we have exceptional teachers here who deal with a wide range of issues with their kids in the classrooms. And when people badmouth not only our students, but our teachers, I cannot tell you how angry I get because I know how hard our teachers work to provide the support that our kids need. And it is our kids, and I don't care if you have a student here in Vallejo or not. The kids who are out there walking the streets, they are our kids. They are our future. So we need your support. That being said, my heart is with middle school. And we've not gotten a lot of support. A lot of support is provided at elementary and in high school. As a 6th grade teacher, I can tell probably within the first month or so which one of my kids are probably going to be dropping out by 9th grade. That being said, what are some of your ideas in providing more support at the middle school level? Thank you.
That's an excellent question. Thank you, Crystal, and thank you for your endorsement and your support of our teachers. Our leaders exist throughout our system. I sit here representing the school district. However, Crystal is one of our key leaders as our union president. Our classified key leaders. We all know who runs the school. The secretary runs the school, not the principal usually. So it is really critical that we acknowledge that leadership comes in all forms. And so I appreciate you, Crystal, for all that you do for our teachers. I also want to say that I was a really excellent teacher. I mean, I was bad, y'all. And my time started probably about an hour before the school started. And usually I did not leave until, the principal was kicking me out. Often when I go to events, even athletic events, teachers will say, oh my God, I've never seen an administrator come, because teachers carry the weight on many of those after-school events, the athletic events. We appreciate you. We love you for all that you do. Now let me answer the question. With regard to our middle schools, that's critical grades, 6th through 8th grade, right? It's kind of like the 9th grade where who are you and where did you come from, young person in my house. 6th through 8th, there's formative years, really important, and middle school does matter. One of the things that we're going to be doing is systematizing pipelines, really talking about how do we make sure that from pre-K all the way through 12th grade, there's support systems in place that follow our kids all the way through. A very, very specific example. We have 4 SART workers in our school system. Last night, I asked the board to help me with another year of evaluating how those SART workers are being used. And the reason is because their whole role is to make sure that our young people are in school, okay? Their whole role is to make sure that our young people are in school. They do home visits, they call parents, they connect parents with resources, they do all of those things. Those individuals have been in the district office hub. And my question is, why is that? They should not necessarily be stationed in the district office. So now, you're right, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And so now they'll be housed, there's 4 of them, there'll be 2 on the Jesse Bethel campus, there'll be 2 on the Vallejo High campus, but not really. They'll be housed there and stationed there, but their responsibility will be to ensure that children in the pipeline, from the kindergarten feeder all the way to the high school, are in school. And that the teachers get the support they need, the direct support, the direct hands-on support to make sure that students are having difficulty getting to school, get there. I think there's some other things that we need to consider, and Crystal, I've heard you and others mention middle school counseling, things like that. I think I'm in evaluation mode around that, and I'm not quite certain yet about some of the structures that need to be enhanced, but I've heard you. And I think we have to continue to consider that. Right now, I'm just trying to make sure our high school stuff gets off the ground really well, because we made lots of promises to the community about that, but I haven't taken my eye off the prize with regard to middle school either. What I also know that you may not know as a community right now is that in our middle schools, we're starting to do early career thoughts and preparation. So what that looks like is at 6th grade, our young people are starting to get engaged with engineering, get engaged with some robotics. We have our robotics teachers here this evening. Very, very early. Thank you. And what we know about that is it's a definite pipeline to a profession, right? That if we can get our kids engaged in engineering early and excited about it and understanding what it is, and knowing that it's possible for them, that there's a strong possibility that they can come out ready to enter a 4-year college, get scholarships, and move on and be the great engineers, scientists, mathematicians of the future. So lots of thoughts on middle school, and some still formulating, quite honestly.
More questions? Yes, sir.
Crystal actually gave me the perfect opportunity to segue into this question, so thank you, Crystal. You set me up on this one. My name is Chuck Pearson, and I am a former Vallejo school teacher. I taught in this district from 2006 to 2009. Most of that time was spent at Jesse Bethel High School. And I have a story as well, and I will try to make it as short as possible. The spring of my last year at Bethel, back in February of '09, I was approached by the principal, John Aragon, who I believe is actually now leaving, and was basically given a choice that he basically said, you are going to be non-reelected. You have 5 days before this notice goes to the board, and you have that time to either decide to take the non-reelection as it is, or to give your resignation and move on. In the interest of protecting my career, I decided to go ahead and resign, and that ended my time with the Vallejo School District. I was just short of obtaining tenure. Had I stayed in the fall, I would have been tenured. His decision to non-reelect me was based on no professional grounds whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the vice principal at the time and the 2 assistant principals were both actually against his decision. But the sole discretion of that was up to him, and since I was not yet a tenured teacher, I obviously had no choice. So I guess the question kind of is more in the lines of this. I was one of 4 teachers that spring who that happened to. 4 very good teachers. And my concern has to do with keeping good teachers here in Vallejo. When I was told that I could not teach at Jesse Bethel High School, I'll be very honest with you, my heart got ripped out. I really did. My years teaching at Bethel, I consider to be some of the finest years of my life. And my years at Bethel brought out the very best in me as a teacher. And I would give anything to come back and teach in the Vallejo School District, absolutely anything. I don't know how many teachers who leave Vallejo can say that, but I can. I don't know how many teachers there are out there who would say that, but I do. You know, and of all the places that I could go and teach, I would give anything to come back here. But that being said, because that may or may not ever be able to happen, you know. But what's I think more important to me is in the future, what can be done to safeguard some of those kind of things from happening and this district losing its good teachers. Is there a system that can be put into place where a principal cannot have that kind of absolute power without any kind of checks and balances to just randomly dismiss a teacher like that? As I said, there was absolutely no professional grounds for my release or for the other people that spring at all. If you were to look at the various evaluations, you know, very satisfactory. I mean, I could go on for hours on this, but I'm not going to, obviously. But that's my main concern, is safeguarding good teachers in this school district. What can be done to prevent that kind of thing from happening?
Okay. Is that a question? Okay. I think support and coaching is critical. Support and coaching is critical. I don't think it should be a surprise to, and I don't know your personal circumstance, so I'll speak in generalities. I don't think it should be a surprise to anyone that they're not meeting the standard. And so support and coaching is critical with teachers, with administrators, with classified members, with everyone. Support and coaching is critical, and surprises are not what I would expect to see in the system now that I'm here. And that's about all I can say. We would follow the evaluation timelines. I actually look at evaluations. I look at all of the documentation over time. We're also talking about how we can partner with the teachers union and others to provide some actual real-time professional development for individuals. We have a lot of our teachers who are doing a phenomenal job in the classroom. And so we want to see if we can utilize those great talents instead of looking on the outside, utilize the great talents within to actually support and coach other teachers. So that would be my short, sweet answer, not knowing the circumstances.
Hi, my name is April Salvadori. I am a community member whose child went to Vallejo Schools, and I'm always around, unfortunately. I have a couple specific requests, and that from problems that I had from when my daughter was in school several years ago, and that is something that maybe with you revamping the website you can do. The community at large doesn't know when things are going on. For example, if my daughter had not been in academic decathlon, which is showing the best and the brightest in not just sports, which we can find out about in the newspaper, but in academics, we don't know about that. So if the schools could send that information to the newspaper, whether they choose to print it or not, you know, at least we're sending that information. And if you can do that for all the different schools on the website, so that if a community member wants to go to those events, even though they may be at the Solano County District Office or elsewhere, we can find out about it. And certainly encourage, when my child went, there never was a school board member, principal, administrator ever at those. There were very few parents, because as parents, they didn't really realize that that was something that they should go to. I couldn't quite figure it out, obviously, but people did. The same thing with, and those that know the events that are going on. For example, some of the different competitions that the kids are in right now, they need to know, well, okay, robotics. Parents need to know that they should go to that, and a lot of times the way they find out that it is important to go, because they don't always go to all the sports events, although if their kid's up there, they realize that, is that if it's in the newspaper, if it's again in the newspaper, if it's on the website, if we see the big shots, if we see the administrators, if we see the school board members showing up to that, then the kids realize it's important, and then they tell their parents, yeah, the school board showed up, yeah, the teacher showed up, yeah, the administrator showed up. No, why didn't you come? And they'll be there at the next one. And
I appreciate your request. What is your name?
My name's April Salvadori.
April, thank you for your request.
There's one more.
Sure.
Several years ago, one of the service clubs came to the schools and asked about a wish list, and asked for the teachers to write a wish list of things that they needed. For example, in beakers, in your labs, in the lab classes, things like that. Now, a lot of us don't have a ton of money to donate, but maybe we can donate, you know, a ream of paper or beakers if we happen to work for a lab company, or calculators or something like that. If we know about that, that would be a great item, and each teacher could put that. Please don't write, I need money, because if we had it, we would do that. But if you write down specifics, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who might be able to get that for you. And if you can have that again on your website, that would be something for the community to maybe make it.
Thank you for your various requests. I really appreciate it. Our calendar of events will definitely be on our website starting next year. I do want to tell you about my board communication and the way I make sure that they're deployed to different events starting, you know, the 2 months ago when I got here. Every Friday, the board gets a calendar of all the events that are happening in the schools. They also get an asterisk by the ones that I'll be attending. So we'll go in various places trying to make sure we cover all bases. So we're hoping to continue to do a better job. I'm surprised I haven't met you because I've been all over the place. But we're really trying to do a better job about visibility in the community. They wanted, one of the things that they said over and over and over again is, we want a community leader, somebody that's in the community, shaking hands, talking to people, because we haven't had that before. So it's a huge priority for this board. It's a huge priority for me. It's just the way I do business. I can't really engage and educate the kids if I'm not hanging out and finding out about them and their parents and the community. So thank you for your suggestions, and we're taking those to heart. I appreciate that.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Gomes. I'm a member of the City Council. I want to commend you first for getting up there and answering questions. It seems like a forum where you're running for office.
It does,
and that's always difficult. So you're doing great.
Thank you.
I would just like to ask if you see, based on your experience elsewhere, if there's a better way the city and the school district can work together. And if so, what kind of ideas might you have? Because we have a traditional committee that it's not very productive. Are there any other creative ideas where we can help each other? Because we all know that we depend on each other. If the schools aren't going to be successful, then Vallejo won't be successful, and vice versa.
Absolutely. I think, you know, you're right on target with regard to us needing to have tighter communication. I believe that, of course, a strong school system will drive the economic engine of the city, so our joint success is critical. I look forward to having those conversations with the City Council. And what I have experienced in Emeryville is we had a City Schools Commission that met pretty regularly. It was the superintendent, I was his assistant superintendent, it was the mayor and a City Council member or two. And we met and hashed out and hammered out issues. We met to discuss collaborative partnerships around things like arts funding and grant funding. And so I look forward to doing that with the City Council and the mayor. I think I've been focused on getting our internal house in order. You know, you can't really go visit visitors until you get your act together in your home. And so that's kind of been the focus, but certainly next school year, I look forward to participating on whatever collaborative committees exist, or hopefully enhancing what exists and creating something new. Thank you for your question.
Good evening. My name is David Parker. Thank you for being here tonight, Dr. Bishop. I am a Vallejo City school teacher, a member of Better Vallejo, and a member of the Myra Theater Guild, so I have quite a few connections to this evening. I was hoping that you could talk to us about how both organizations and individuals can directly assist our schools. For instance, Better Vallejo has had the idea of adopting a school, both providing supplies and volunteers. Or individuals might want to just walk into a school. So I was hoping you could tell us some of the process of how people can become directly involved in the schools, because as a school teacher, I can tell you that we could certainly use the help.
No doubt about it. Thank you for your question, Mr. Parker. And this is one that was on my heart as I studied the school system. I saw that we were disconnected with our community. And so I created, instead of having a public information officer, which was the funded position in my office, I created a director of partnerships and community engagement. And her whole role will be to enhance and increase grant funding to the school district, to outreach to the community, and bring in community partners, community-based organizations that want to help us in our endeavors to educate all children. So I would ask that any organization that's interested, I'm very open and I respond to emails at 2 in the morning, seriously. So, so if you want to email me or email Dr. Shackelford, let us know your interest. We are very interested in what you spoke about with regard to adopting schools. We're very interested certainly in our mentoring programs. We're interested in role models from various aspects of the community simply coming in and giving a presentation to our young people. So we have many interests, and we can hook you up with whatever that interest is through either Elena or myself. We're looking for all hands to do this work. Thank you.
Yes, good evening. My name is Robert McConnell, and first on a personal note, I'd like to welcome you to as another doctoral holder from Pacific to our community. It's good to see you.
All right, thank you.
Ian Kaiser and I have been very good friends for many years, and before he left to take his position as a city manager, we have been kicking around an idea that Stephanie just touched on, and that was to create a liaison person like between the city council and the school board. We were also talking about getting community groups more involved with the school district. Vallejo Heights is very active, and I was just like you to expand a little bit more on the idea of the desirability of having a liaison person established on the council and with the school board, as well as integrating the community groups of our town more into the school district itself. Thank you.
I again believe that partnerships are critical. I'm not sure about what that liaison position job description would look like, so I'd have to investigate that a little bit further. But I have created that job description in my office that will be an outreach to all community groups, which includes the city, includes the county, anybody else that wants to get engaged and help our children really reach their goals and dreams. So thank you for your question.
Hi, my name is
sweetheart.
Amna McKnight, and I'm going into 7th grade, and I'm coming back into the school, this school area, this school district, and I wanted to ask you a question because a long time ago I was in the school district, and there was some bullies, and I got my money not taken away, but almost taken away. And can we stop the school bullying?
What's your name, sweetheart?
Amna McKnight.
I'm sorry, tell me your name one more time.
Amna McKnight.
All right. Welcome back to Vallejo Schools.
Thank you.
We are so glad you're here. What'd you say? Is she? All right. We're so glad that you're considering. Our children are precious commodities, aren't they? And so your question just kind of gave me goosebumps around how can we really make sure that your experience as you come back here is a good one? And how can we make sure that your experience is safe? But more importantly, and most importantly, how can we make sure that you graduate and you're ready to go on and do whatever your future has for you?
Trust me, I have everything planned out.
You have it all planned out? You go, girl. All right, what do you plan to do when you get out of high school?
Well, I'm thinking of going to UC Davis to become a veterinarian, to specialize in horses, or a cook.
Well, you are my new best friend, sweetheart. But anyway, bullying is a serious issue, and I don't mean to make light of it. I was with some students at Vallejo High School this morning, about 9 of them. filming and talking about what the issues are in the schools, why they're bullied, and so forth. I asked them a question about why they get bullied. And they said that anybody that seems to be different, whether it's a perceived difference or a real difference, seems to get bullied in our schools. I asked them about who makes them feel safest. They talked about families. They talked about their moms and their dads. I asked them about places on the campus where they felt safe. They talked about the library and classrooms with their teachers. The reason I'm doing that is to find out from the young people what's going on in our schools. And when I've found that out, I'm going to be bringing those tapes back to all of our staff members to have some real conversations about our campuses. So that when you come back, sweetheart, we will have studied this. We will have thought about it. We'll have point people to make sure that you feel safe on campus. And let me tell you something, since you're my new best friend, if anybody bothers you, you just email me, okay? Yes, because we're going to make sure you're successful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bishop. My name is Rusko Kianging, a proud member of Better Vallejo, and also currently serve as a public official as chairman of the City of Vallejo Youth Commission. And my question is based on getting our young citizens involved in any major decision making that policy makers face. Thank you for coming to our Youth Commission meeting a while back about the budget. And my question is, how can we get, how do you see the Youth Commission having a better connection between the school district and the city, as well as getting involved in a decision-making process, and like, get your opinion, how can we make the Youth Commission better to achieve that?
Excellent question. We are putting together a community advisory, Russell, and we can talk more in depth about that. But that community advisor is any community-based organization that wants to meet quarterly with me to talk about updates, to talk about decisions that are going to be going before the board, those types of things. We would love to have a liaison from the Youth Commission. I think sometimes adults think they're really smart, and we have it all figured out. And we're putting systems in place for young people, and we've never asked them. And so we would love to have a liaison from your commission be a part of our community advisory. And feel free to contact me. You know how to do that, right? Okay.
Hi, Dr. Bishop. I'm Miguel Castillo, and I got a chance to meet with you 3 weeks ago when you met with the core committee at Better Vallejo, and I want to thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I have first a comment and then a question. In the 2000 census, Vallejo was only 6 to 7% Hispanic. As of the 2010 census, Vallejo is now 21% Hispanic.
Yes.
The jump in the Hispanic population has just been unbelievable in this city. I'm sure it's going to present new challenges and opportunities for the school board in the future. But my question is, now that you're here, and hopefully you'll bring your ideas and work with the talented people that are already here, what are some of the indicators that you're looking for that will let you know that some of your ideas are working or not?
That's such a good question. So we're having on June 15th, thank you for indicating the increase in the Latino population in the community. It presents us with a wonderful opportunity, doesn't it? So the more diverse we get, the more we learn from each other, and I'm very excited about serving the community, which includes enhanced Latino population. And what you know about the state is that I believe 46, maybe 50% of our kindergartners are Latino students. So I'm going to have to brush up on my Spanish like really fast. That works. I need some tutoring and mentoring. But anyway, your question was, go back to your question for me.
What's the indicators you're going to be looking
Okay.
for?
We are going to be presenting on June 15th from 5 to 8 p.m. We're having a listening session. We're going to be looking at the current state of our data. And we'll be looking at academic test scores. We'll be looking at suspensions and expulsions. We'll be looking at CELT scores, California English Language Development Test. We'll be looking at a number of ways of looking at our young people and how they're performing. We'll be looking at enrollment in our system, the ups and downs in enrollment. All of that data will be presented to the community. Then we'll have options for parents and community members to come in and staff to come in and talk about what they're seeing in our data. The board and I, Adrian's going to try real hard not to talk. It's going to be hard for her, easy for me. Just kidding. We're all going to try really hard not to talk. We're going to be listening that night. Listening to community input about the data that we're seeing. And then we'll be collating and quantifying and coding and looking at all of that from that listening session, and we'll go into a board retreat on Friday. That retreat will, in the morning, deal with how we're going to govern together, because we are a team. We are all linked together. And then in the afternoon, based on the input we've gotten from the entire community on this night and other ways of getting information, we're going to be setting some quantifiable goals. Something, not, you know, we're going to get better. How do you quantify that, right? Quantifiable things that we can count and see, are we meeting our goals? We'll be doing that together as a board and a superintendent, putting it all together and pushing it out on our brochures, pushing it out to everyone, because remember, it will have been from everyone that this information came. And then we'll be holding our schools and our principals and everyone in our system accountable for making sure that we meet those goals. Thank you for your question.
Dr. Bishop, pleasure to see you again.
Same here.
Thank you for being here this evening and opening your arms so wide to the community.
Thank you.
We all appreciate it. A couple of suggestions. Approximately 15 years or so ago, about 30 citizens from the community, complete cross-section of the community, got together, created something called Vision 2020 for the schools. You might find it sitting on a shelf somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Some of what was in that vision was implemented, some was not. One of the things that was suggested at that time, which is even more pertinent now than it was 15 years ago, was relative to financial situation. Yeah, you have a problem. I'm on the city council. We have a problem.
Right.
GVRD has a problem. One of the suggestions in that was to create a joint powers authority or some type of partnership for the three entities that I just mentioned, because we duplicate costs. There's a way to improve that if we all work together and we only paid once for the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So really like to work with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
It was very near and dear to my heart when I was on this Vision 2020 group, and really nothing's ever come of it, and I can see a lot of potential for cost savings.
Okay.
So love to meet with you on that.
Sure, I would love to, and I'd love to see a copy of that. I'll try and dig through my office and see if I can find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other part of what I was what I would like to suggest is the more publicity we can get for the good things that happen in our school, the better.
Absolutely.
It's unfortunate that the media zeroes in on the negative, but if we could maybe get our local newspaper to run a column about the good things that are happening in Vallejo School, what's best in Vallejo School, and have someone from the schools write the column. Would not have to be a burden for one individual, could rotate through all of the schools and get something that you would give to the newspaper so you wouldn't have to depend on them to do the writing. They're probably short-staffed like everyone else. They have a representative who shows up for the meetings, but a weekly column, Sunday paper, I think could get a lot of good publicity for the schools.
Thank you for your suggestion.
You're welcome.
Folks, we're almost running out of time, and now all of a sudden everybody's got their hands up. So I want to remind, we're going to do about 3 more questions, and then we're going to move to a reception area in the back so that you can talk with Dr. Bishop directly and get some of your questions answered. There's been some people who've been patiently waiting, and we're going to do like 3 more questions, and then we're going to make it more informal in the reception room. Okay?
Thanks. I'm Kemper Stone, and I got drawn into the whole school thing by Better Vallejo over the anti-bullying, and was frustrated to gradually learn that there's more to the story than what Cookie and Danny have to say and what David and what I have to say in rebuttal. But the problem is there was no information from the school board of what was really going on, and that's a problem. And another problem is, so I wanted to thank you for publishing this.
Sure.
You ran out of them by the time I got there, and I missed your presentation, but this has to get to the newspapers, and I was delighted to discover on the internet today and the website, most of this stuff is there now.
Good.
I hope there'll be more, because that's very important.
Thank you.
As far as working with the community, if an email goes into the school board or the superintendent, you got to automatically acknowledge it, because I've sent in 50, gotten no acknowledgement or response whatsoever, except when I took Valerie Weatherly aside and said, I'm going to send you a test email, and please let me know if you get it. Otherwise, no response. So if you want participation, there must be acknowledgement. I know you can't spend an hour with every email, but that's critical. The other thing is, I am an artist. I am a notorious artist. I give a year's worth of art in one session, and I've volunteered a dozen times to different entities in the school to do that. And I've gotten, again, 0 response. So if you have people that are going to deliver the real thing, something special, art is important.
You're right.
You don't have the funding. If I'm going to give enough more art than a guy could get sitting in a classroom for a semester, and I get the brush off from 5 different schools and 10 different teachers, that's a problem. And you have to arrange for the school to be receptive to those who are willing to help, or you're wasting your time.
I agree with you. Thank you so much. My mother's an artist. I will never close the door to an artist. Were those emails recently?
It's over the last year.
Okay. I've been responding to lots of emails directly, so try me, all right? All right. I don't know if I did, so.
Regarding this very event and the questions I'd like to ask.
Okay, we'll check into that. Thank you for saying that.
Okay, I'm a teacher. You can come to my room anytime with art. Not a problem. I'll connect with you afterwards, and I'll be happy to sign up. Just really quickly, I appreciate the idea on the forum that's presenting all the data and then getting input. But I'm wondering if it's also possible, because I'm thinking June 15th, I'd love to go, but I can't because I have another meeting I have to be. Is it possible for that data to be on the website or somewhere ahead of time so people can look at it, and those of us that maybe can't get to it, publish it again in the in the newspaper, so that people who can't actually make that meeting date have the opportunity to look at it?
Sure.
Because I think it's a really great idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll post it. Here's what I'm going to say, though. We have some things to celebrate in the data, and there are some things that we're not happy about. So I'm just going to say, it is what it is right now, and we'll make it better together, okay?
Hi, my name is Ron West. I teach at Stephen Manor. When Dan Glaze was a school board member, I would email him, and he would never respond. So I asked Dan why not. He said, all community emails go into the spam box. So my question is, does that still happen?
Is it? Okay. I know that we have some serious filters on our website. Again, we're working on those because we have to phase out. I know Facebook was a major issue for our students. So because we're a school system, we really do have to be incredibly more so careful than usual organizations. So there are some issues where we're spamming things out. But I really want to hear from people when that's happening. If you're feeling a delay, my office is pretty fast. So if you're feeling a delay of over a week, I would ask that you give us a call and just let us know so we can investigate. Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Dr. Bishop.
Thank you.
I'm here representing Fighting Back Partnership Mentoring Program. And I am so excited and thrilled to hear that you advocate mentoring, and that for the 9th graders and 3rd graders, it's, right place, right time. We offer basic mentor training.
Yes.
Yes. And so yeah, we do. I'll take the applause. Yeah. And what I'd like to say is that, it's very different than parenting, and we have such a need in the community for people to mentor. We have the Mentoring Children of Prisoners program, and various different programs within Solano Mentoring Collaborative, and I don't know that the people are really hearing that there's a disconnect from the need of mentoring and children that are out there that are latchkey and unable to really connect in the community and have that positive reinforcement from a responsible adult, just to share some time with them. We want to partner with you. We want to make sure that no kid is left out, that everybody is sought after. I'm a little nervous.
It's okay. You're doing fine.
Thank you. And however we can forge a partnership with you all, other resources here in the community to make sure that, we take care of our babies.
It's funny, thank you. I appreciate it. When I attended the Better Vallejo Steering Committee meeting, there was a member from Fighting Back Partnership there. And the young lady, I don't remember her name. Naisha? Okay, I'm not going to try it. But she gave me a flyer about the mentoring training, and I went flying back to my office like, yes, we have a possible partnership. So you guys should be hearing from us. And I believe there's also some money in Fighting Back to mentor foster kids or kids from the juvenile justice system, perhaps. And so we'd like to talk about that. Is that true?
Well, the next, I'm hearing so much stuff. I got it. No, our next basic mentor training is June the 25th, and I have business cards, you can call me, and we can get that set up.
Okay.
But no, we lost our funding for mentoring children of prisoners.
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
$49 million cut nationally, but we're committed because we know that population is very vulnerable, still exists. We're going to be committed to making sure that we are going to see about those children.
Excellent.
By any means necessary. So.
Thank you so much.
Folks, I know there's lots of hands, but we're going to have to ask you to ask those questions to Dr. Bishop in the reception. I'd like to ask everybody, if you would, to please join me in thanking Mark Garman for his efforts tonight. Mark, as most of you know, is a tireless journalist here in Vallejo, and he helped us with sound and with recording tonight's event, so we really do thank him. With your indulgence, Dr. Bishop, I'm going to ask all of the teachers in the room to please stand up. Let's all join in thanking them for what they do for us. And as a token of our appreciation, Better Vallejo has a flower arrangement for Dr. Bishop, and it includes a Better Vallejo mug, so she can remember us. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. It's a great turnout. It really does show that the people here in Vallejo care about our city and care about our schools. We do encourage you to go back and join the reception. Dr. Bishop, thank you, thank you, thank you. There's refreshments back there.